Hello, F-sharp. Welcome back. I'm changing things a little bit. Previously, I would put this content in the chat series. But what I realized was happening is that I would want to provide updates for where the channel was going and the things I was thinking about in terms of F-sharp content. And at the same time, I often had something related to just software development, software engineering that I wanted to discuss as well. And I kind of realized like these are really kind of two different series. It's two different ideas, and I'm trying to kind of mash them together. And so what I decided to do is I said, you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that update of the channel stuff and put that in a journal series. And just like, hey, this is purely just my ideas of where I'm taking the channel, what I plan on doing in the future. And so it's going to be very much related to the content that's being produced here and what I'm producing for the F-sharp community. It's basically a newsletter, right? I mean, that's what it is. It's a video auditory newsletter. And the reason I want to do that, well, at some point I am going to start a newsletter as well, because some people prefer that form of content. And it's easier for you to just reply to that. But I'm a very visual auditory person. Again, it kind of comes from the dyslexia. So being able to hear things is really helpful. And I enjoy being able to see someone when they're discussing something. So this is going to be the journal series and just talking about the history of the channel, where my thought process was at any given moment of time. And so it's kind of a way of checking in with myself and checking in with you. And I just want to say thank you for everyone who's been joining the channel. It's been really fantastic to see it grow. The intention of this is to provide the resources for the community that I wish existed when I started writing F-sharp. I started back, I believe, is 2010. I'm kind of going way back at this point, and there just wasn't much content. And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to like just pour that out for the new people coming to it. So, how is the channel? How are things? Well, last week I mentioned like, hey, I'm now half time with my work and I'm looking for additional work to pick up. Well, I'm full now. I don't have any, and what do I mean by that? At this time, I have no additional capacity for long-term engagements. So what I'm hoping to do is to kind of have a business where I am a performance lead for hire, for like temporary work. Where like, hey, you have a project and you want to bring me on and provide that oversight or that insight into, hey, we have this service, this application, performance is critical, and we don't necessarily have the expertise on the team to know what we need to do to make sure that our code is performant. I can only support so much of that work because it's an ongoing engagement. Like my intention is that I am very hands-on with the team as I am doing that. And that's booked at this point. If you're interested in that though, if you're like, oh, Matthew, like we don't have something right now, but in the future we have an upcoming project and we'd love to have you be a part of that, please feel free to reach out to me via email and we can set up an appointment. And I'd love to discuss if I would be a good fit for that or not. But at the moment, it's full. What I can do though, and what I'm going to set up is if you have like a performance health check that you want done, where it's a relatively short thing, you have a code base, you want me to benchmark it, profile it, and identify like, hey, it looks like these are where your issues are, and these are my recommendations for improving the performance of it and how you can kind of re-architect some pieces. That is just like a relatively quick and easy thing for me to do. And so the idea with that is that we would have an initial call. We would discuss what you're looking for. I would get access to the code. I would spend some time profiling, benchmarking, and then I would create a report and then have a debrief with you and your team saying like, this is what I recommend. And we can have a discussion about how you would actually go and implement those changes. That time is still available. And so, and I'm going to have a link to that set up here in the near future if you want to book that time. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm hoping to take my work. Going, I'm, um, I am going to start creating mini courses as well. And the intention with those is that I'm going to put up the idea for the mini course, and I'm going to have a very low price on it. And if I get enough interest, like enough people are willing to pay for it, then I will actually create the course. And the people who are in that first cohort are going to have a very unique experience, because I'm going to be very hands-on. I'm going to provide a single lesson, a single piece of that mini course each week. And the mini course in whole will be about 2 hours worth of video, but it's going to be very highly polished, very, very to the point, very applicable. But that first cohort is going to get to build that with me. And what I mean by that is they'll be the ones that get to provide me feedback on like, hey, this is working, this is not working. We are interested in this. So there's going to be like a co-creator aspect to that. And I will be highly involved. And it will also be the cheapest that course will ever be. I will promise that up front. If you're willing to go through that development experience with me of developing the course, you will get it for free. You will get it for as long as I have it up on the internet and afford to make it available. It will be available to you. And if I update it with like, hey, we now have fsharp 8 and it brings some new features that would apply to this scenario, I will go back and I will update it. And so you'll have lifetime access to it, and I will let you download the content to make sure that even if I get hit by a bus and stop paying the bills and this gets taken down, you will still have access to that content. So that's what I'm thinking as far as creating courses. I don't want to take on these like mega course projects that you see on Pluralsight where they're like 10 hours worth of content and it's like huge endeavors. Like, no. I'm not going to do that. Very, very application oriented. Like, hey, this is a very specific scenario that I'm dealing with and I need to know how to do this right in fsharp. And the first one I'm thinking of doing is zero allocation fsharp, because I've gotten a lot of interest in that. Like my zero allocation video for the dictionary just got way more hits than anything else. I'm like, I think I might have hit something here. People seem to be interested in this. So what I'm going to do is I will put a link up and I will let it run. I'm not sure if I'm going to let it run for a week or a couple weeks, but like, hey, I'm going to leave it up. If it hits the funding goal, then yes, we will make it happen. And then we will go through that development experience together. Again, that's going to be the most hands-on I will ever be with a course, is that first creation. Obviously, if someone buys the course later and they have questions, I will provide feedback. But this will, and I will probably host calls with people so that we can have discussions. So if you're excited about having that, that experience of like building something with me, and then this is going to be something for you. So that's all I have for now as far as the channel update and what's going on with Fast F#. If you like these ideas or you have other ideas for courses that you would be super interested in, please put it down below in the comments. That's a great way to get back to me. If you are interested in potentially in the future having me do some work with your team, some coaching and mentoring of your team on projects, please feel free to email me and let me know and we can have a discussion. So until next time, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. The internet is full of trolls, but I have been shocked by the wonderful comments that you have been providing. It's really been lovely to hang out with you, and just thank you so much for spending some time with me today. You have a great day. Bye-bye.